Hello, my friend. This is Dr. Linda Parker speaking to you as a guide and educator in heart health. And today, I want to walk with you through a topic that almost nobody explains calmly and clearly. The supplements that may not be as heart-friendly as their labels suggest. For years, many of us have heard the same message. More supplements mean more protection, more energy, more longevity. You walk into a pharmacy or open an online store, and you're surrounded by promises. Supports heart health, cardio formula, circulation booster, cholesterol defense. It sounds reassuring, casi como un escudo mágico. And yet, behind closed doors, many cardiologists are saying something muy diferente. There are at least 5 popular supplements they wish their patients would slow down and question right now. Not because all supplements are bad, not because nobody should ever take them, but because certain products, taken sin supervision, can interfere with medications, increase bleeding risk, raise blood pressure, trigger rhythm problems in the heart, or simply give a false sense of security that delays real lifestyle changes. And all of this suele occur in silence without obvious warning signs. In this video, I want to be your ally, not your alarm bell. My goal is not to make you throw everything away, but to help you open that drawer of bottles with new eyes. By the end, you'll know which 5 supplements cardiologists often worry about, why they're controversial, and what smart questions you can take to your next appointment so your heart isn't fighting a hidden battle behind the scenes. So imagine your nightstand for a moment. Maybe you see a bottle of heart support with fish oil capsules, a calcium supplement for your bones, a natural cholesterol remedy, a multivitamin with extra vitamin E, and perhaps an energy or fat burner pill you take before walking or going to the gym. Each one entered your life with good intentions, but together, sin un plan claro. They can become a chemical cocktail your heart never asked for. Let's start with one of the world's most popular supplements, high-dose fish oil capsules. For years, fish oil has been sold almost like a miracle for the heart. Supports healthy triglycerides, protects your arteries, smooths your circulation. And there is truth in the idea that omega-3 fats are important for cardiovascular health. The problem is not omega-3 itself. It's how we've turned it into big, concentrated pills that people swallow every day without medical guidance, as if more were always better. Large studies over the last years have painted a more complex picture. In some cases, high-dose omega-3 supplements did not bring the dramatic heart benefits that marketing promised. Even more concerning, in certain people with existing heart disease, these concentrated doses have been linked with a higher risk of abnormal heart rhythms, especially a condition called atrial fibrillation. Atrial fibrillation is an irregular, often rapid heartbeat that can cause palpitations, shortness of breath, fatigue, and, most importantly, increase the risk of blood clots and stroke. That does not mean fish oil automatically causes this problem in everyone. But it does mean that taking large doses, just because they're good for the heart, is not as innocent as it sounds, especially after a certain age or if you already have heart issues. There's another detail many people forget. The safest and most consistent way to get omega-3s is still through food. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, herring, or mackerel, eaten within a balanced diet. In that context, omega-3 comes packaged with protein, minerals, and other nutrients in a way the body recognizes. Capsules skip that natural balance and push a concentrated dose into your system. So if you're taking fish oil, don't panic. But do pause and ask, do I truly need this supplement? Was it prescribed with a clear goal, or did I just pick it up after hearing a friend say it's good for circulation? If you have a history of irregular heartbeats, stents, past heart attacks, or are already on multiple heart medications, this conversation with your cardiologist becomes even more important. Now let's move to the second supplement many cardiologists want us to question: calcium pills taken just to protect the bones. Calcium is essential for strong bones. That's not in doubt. But the way it enters your body makes a big difference. When calcium comes from food, dairy products if you tolerate them, leafy greens, almonds, tofu, small fish with soft bones, it arrives slowly, alongside other nutrients, and your body absorbs what it needs in a more natural rhythm. With pills, especially in high or frequent doses, a big wave of calcium suddenly circulates in your blood, and that's where heart doctors become cautious. Some research has suggested that large amounts of calcium from supplements, not from food, may be associated with more calcium deposits in the arteries. Think of tiny mineral grains slowly stiffening the flexible pipes that should deliver blood to your heart and brain. Other studies are less clear, and the science is not completely settled. But the concern is strong enough that many cardiologists feel uneasy when patients with known artery disease or valve problems are also swallowing high doses of calcium every day without any bone density testing or clear medical indication. The goal is not to scare you away from protecting your bones. It's to remind you that your skeleton and your cardiovascular system are not separate universes. What you do for the bones can affect the arteries, and vice versa. For many older adults, the best first step is to assess bone density properly. Check vitamin D levels, and then design a plan that uses food first and supplements only when truly necessary and in doses that fit their individual risk. So if you currently take calcium pills because everyone after 60 should do it, ask your doctor. Do my bones actually need this dose? Is there a way to cover more of my calcium needs through diet? Given my heart history, is this particular supplement the best choice for me? The third supplement that deserves a closer look is red yeast rice, often marketed as a natural statin. Red yeast rice comes from rice fermented with a specific yeast. During that process, it produces a substance that is chemically very similar to a common statin drug used to lower cholesterol. That is why so many people see it as a natural alternative when they don't want prescription medication. But here is the inconvenient truth. If it lowers cholesterol in a meaningful way, it's acting like a drug, whether the label says natural or not. And there are two big problems here. First, the amount of active substance in red yeast rice products can vary wildly from one brand to another, and even from batch to batch of the same brand. Some capsules contain barely any active compound. Others contain enough to resemble a dose of prescription statin. That means you may be taking something ineffective or potent enough to cause the same possible side effects you were trying to avoid, such as muscle pain, weakness, or liver strain, but without the monitoring and safety controls that come with a regular medication. Second, many people stop their prescribed statin on their own, replace it with red yeast rice, and feel safer because it's natural. Meanwhile, their cholesterol may not be controlled, their artery disease may accelerate silently, and neither they nor their cardiologist have a clear idea of what dose they're actually receiving. If you truly have difficulty tolerating statins, this is a conversation to have honestly with your doctor. There are different types of statins, different doses, and even completely different classes of cholesterol-lowering drugs that may be more suitable for you. Simply jumping to a supplement without professional guidance can make you feel proactive while leaving your heart more vulnerable than before. The fourth group of supplements that cardiologists view with serious concern are so-called natural fat burners NAS pre-workouts, or NEDS energy boosters, that contain strong stimulants, especially those using bitter orange, citrus aurantium, or synephrine. These products are often sold for weight loss or performance. The marketing promises are tempting: more energy, faster metabolism, better focus, more intense workouts. But the way they achieve those effects is by stimulating your nervous system and cardiovascular system, raising heart rate, tightening blood vessels, and increasing blood pressure. In a young, otherwise healthy person, this may simply feel like being amped up. In someone over 50 or 60 with hypertension, narrow arteries, a history of chest pain or arrhythmias, this can be dangerous. Synephrine and similar compounds act in a way somewhat akin to adrenaline. They push your body into a fight or flight mode, even if you're just sitting or doing mild exercise. Combine that with caffeine, which many of these products also contain in high amounts, and you're asking an aging heart to run a sprint it didn't sign up for. The result can be palpitations, spikes in blood pressure, irregular rhythms, or in extreme cases, heart attacks in susceptible individuals. There is another silent risk: interactions with medications. If you are taking drugs for blood pressure, for heart rhythm, or blood thinners, these stimulant supplements can change how your body responds to those medications. The label may not warn you clearly, and the people selling them may not know your history, but your heart will feel the full reality of that combination. If you're using any type of energy pill, pre-workout formula, or fat-burning stack, especially one that lists bitter orange, synephrine, or a long list of herbal stimulants you don't fully recognize, this is something you absolutely should bring to your cardiologist's attention. Sometimes simply removing that one product can reduce palpitations, stabilize blood pressure, and improve sleep more than any new prescription. The fifth supplement on our list is high-dose vitamin E, often promoted as a powerful antioxidant for the heart and circulation. Vitamin E in small amounts is important. You find it naturally in nuts, seeds, vegetable oils, and some fruits and vegetables. The body uses it to help protect cells from damage. The issue is when that modest food-based intake is replaced or dramatically amplified by large capsules of isolated vitamin E, taken daily for years under the idea that the more antioxidants, the better. When researchers have looked carefully at high-dose vitamin E supplements, the results have not matched the glowing promises. In terms of preventing heart attacks or strokes, the benefits have been disappointing. In some analyses, high doses have been linked with an increased risk of bleeding, especially in people who already take blood-thinning medications like aspirin or anticoagulants. For a heart patient, that matters a lot. You may already be walking a fine line between preventing clots and avoiding serious bleeding. Adding an extra layer of blood-thinning effect without supervision is like stacking more weight on a fragile bridge. Vitamin E from food does not seem to pose this problem. When you eat a handful of almonds, drizzle a bit of vegetable oil on your salad, or include seeds and avocado in your meals, you're giving your body balanced packages of nutrients, not a single compound in isolation at high dose. That's a very different conversation with your heart and blood vessels. So if you have a history of heart disease, or if you take any form of blood thinner, it's essential to bring your vitamin E capsules to your doctor's attention. Ask directly, is there any real benefit for me in taking this, or am I simply adding risk? Could I focus instead on food sources of antioxidants, colorful vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, rather than a concentrated pill? At this point, you might be thinking, so Linda, does this mean all supplements are bad? Should I just stop everything? No, that's not the message. The message is that supplements are tools, not decorations. In the right context, with the right indication and dose, some supplements are extremely helpful. Vitamin D in documented deficiency, iron for true anemia, certain omega-3 formulations prescribed for very high triglycerides. These can be life-changing when used correctly. But your body is not a random container where you pour everything that looks healthy. It's a finely tuned system, especialmente después de los 50, with a unique medical history, medications, and vulnerabilities. One of the biggest gifts you can give your heart is to bring intention and clarity to every pill you swallow, whether it comes from a pharmacy, a health store, or the internet. Let me share two brief stories that I see echoes of every week. The first is Jorge. a 67-year-old man who felt constantly tired and anxious about his heart. He had survived a mild heart attack years before and was determined to do everything right. When we went through his daily routine, we discovered he was taking his prescribed heart medications, plus fish oil, red yeast rice, high-dose vitamin E, a strong pre-workout with bitter orange, a calcium supplement just in case, and a multivitamin designed for heart support. No doctor had a complete picture of this cocktail. Each product had been added one by one over the years. Little by little, in coordination with his cardiologist, we simplified his regimen. They adjusted his prescription drugs based on current labs, removed the stimulator-heavy pre-workout, discontinued the high-dose vitamin E, questioned the need for red yeast rice given his other cholesterol medications, and focused instead on nutrition, walking, and stress management. Within weeks, his palpitations diminished, his sleep improved, and his energy felt more steady. His heart hadn't suddenly become 20 years younger. It had simply been freed from unnecessary chemical noise. The second story is Elena, a 72-year-old woman terrified of breaking a hip. She had built her own protection plan: 2 calcium pills a day, a vitamin E capsule for circulation, and fish oil to keep the blood clean. She had never had a bone density scan, but she was sure these pills were indispensable. When her cardiologist looked at her artery imaging and her long list of medications, he became worried that her supplement choices might be working against her heart. Together, they designed a new plan: a proper bone density test, moderate use of calcium based on her actual needs, attention to vitamin D and protein intake, strength exercises adapted to her age, and the decision to stop high-dose vitamin E while prioritizing natural sources of healthy fats and antioxidants in her diet. Her bones remained a priority, but the strategy stopped ignoring her heart's reality. If I had to compress everything we've said today into one powerful sentence, it would be this: your heart doesn't need more bottles, it needs better questions. You are not too old, too late, or too complicated medically to rethink what you're taking. In fact, this stage of life is the perfect moment to open that drawer, line up your pill bottles, medications, and supplements, and say, I want to understand what each of you is doing here. Never underestimate the power of writing down every product you use and bringing that list to your cardiologist or trusted health professional. That simple act of transparency often reveals interactions, duplications, and unnecessary risks that nobody had noticed before. Never forget, your heart has accompanied you through joy, loss, change, and growth. It beats for you thousands of times every hour, asking for very little in return, moving your body, feeding it real food, letting it rest, processing your emotions, and yes, sometimes accepting the help of well-chosen medications or supplements. It deserves that the things you take for your health truly align with your unique needs, instead of following trends or marketing slogans. So, here is my gentle invitation as we close. After this video, take 10 minutes to look at your supplements with new eyes. Group them, read their labels, ask yourself why you're taking each one. Then, on your next visit, show them to your cardiologist and say, I want us to review these together. Which of these truly helps my heart, and which should I question now? If this conversation opened your eyes, share it with someone you love. Maybe a friend or family member who also has a drawer full of pills and a heart that deserves clarity. And if you'd like to keep walking this path of informed, calm, science-based heart care together, I invite you to subscribe and stay close. In each new video, we'll continue translating complex information into practical wisdom for your daily life. I'm Dr. Linda Parker, and it has been an honor to sit with you today and help you protect the most faithful companion you've had all these years, your heart.